I guess really the story probably starts with the fact I'd just gotten out of the service. I had been an officer during the Vietnam War in the Navy, and I went back to graduate school and bought my first little house. I got this phone call from my dad saying, "Why don't you come back and open a hamburger and ice cream parlor with your mother?" In this little motel, little 6-unit motel that they had bought 2 years earlier. Mom thought that the town needed a hamburger and ice cream parlor. So I told my father, "No, you gotta be kidding. You come back to this little town, 350 people, that was mostly boarded up." It was an old river town that was really economically distressed, like a lot of the little river towns were.
What year was this?
1977. I guess we sort of start with here. These are some of the pictures of how the first mortgage payment, handwritten note, in that fun, one page. You have to see that, or there more.
Yeah.
And the old mom and dad there, it's their 50th wedding anniversary picture, and then the front of the motel, and here's mom with her 2 dogs in front of the Vega. And there's she built the front end of see how the motel was cinder block,
right.
And then she put the cedar front end on because it was the cheapest type of wood could buy.
I see.
And there's a picture of the old original plumbing drawing for Hamburger Patty's Ice Cream Parlor in March of '77. Here, this was the end of the motel, right here, and it went down here, and like this was one door for one of the rooms, and then there was another door right here, and then another door, and this was the front door of the restaurant originally. You used to come here underneath these porches. They're still there. They're in the picture. And you would come in here, and this was the motel.
We're in the motel now.
You're
this
in the
was
motel.
One of the
And
rooms.
here was the wall right here, and I used to live in this room over here, and Mom and Dad lived on the other room in another motel. But this wall was here, and we had this set up like a little living room. And oftentimes people would walk in here and they would think, "Oh my God, we've walked into somebody's living room or something," and turn around and walk out. But we come grab them, you know. We had to grab a lot of customers back then.
Chip, Michael Lee, as we sit here, it's almost tearful as I sit here, because, I mean, look where we're at. I mean, we are under the porch of the beginning of the settlement. How does this feel?
Front door.
The front door, right there.
So this was the original what Mom and Dad bought, and there was a round circular driveway up here. And at one time it was Newcomb's Modern Cabins, and then it became the Grand Rivers Motel,
Right.
I think, and Mom and Dad called it. They started life anew here. Dad had come here to work on the flood and stayed in a little motel and fell in love with it. So they sold their little house in Palmetto, Florida, and moved here and bought the little motel from Mabel Nash, who was the manager forever of the Iron Kettle.
Wow.
They actually sold this to Mom and Dad.
Really?
Well, then in 1977, Mom and Dad wanted to open a hamburger and ice cream parlor. Actually, it started in '76. Mom got the idea. So it started right here.
Right.
You know, the
You
carry-out
talk-
window was right there.
You talk about your mom, and I mean, she was a brilliant lady. What was her background? What did she do? What was her job?
She was a Leave It to Beaver mom. She was just
stay
like
at
June
home?
Cleaver.
Just a stay at
Dad
home.
would leave home in his suit and his hat and a briefcase, and Mom would be all dressed up, and all the bedrooms were all made and put together, because whenever you might have guests come by, you never knew when Dad was going to bring clients home for dinner or something, with the house always had to be ready.
Well, she also had 4 kids to take care of, plus her mother lived with them.
So she had a lot of people to feed.
Lot to do
But
at
She
home.
had her
was,
own, yeah,
she was
yeah.
always,
But she was a very smart lady too, wasn't she?
yeah, she loved to entertain, but she
Right.
also kept the cookie jar full,
Right.
because she knew where all the kids in the neighborhood were at. They were at our house with our kids, because she always
had
kept
the
the
good
cookie
food.
jar full. Then you'd come to this was the back of the motel right here. So this was, you know, what, 30 feet, something like that?
Right. And
So-
this is all they owned, you said, because they didn't own a lot behind, right?
No, behind that wall.
Right on that wall.
But anyway, Mom wanted a bathtub. There were no bathtubs, it's just showers. And she wanted a bathtub, so she went to Early's flea market and found this old claw-footed bathtub.
Oh, wow.
And Indian Joe always sat at the front door of Early's gift shop.
Right.
So anyway, she had built this room here on. So she designed and built this room here for her living room. There's an old cedar closet behind this door. And of course, back here was the bathroom that she built.
And I hear Indian Joe.
Indian Joe is in the bathroom. You can look around. It has a bathtub and a shower in it. And Mom's original whiskey barrel sink and horse hames. And Indian Joe is really pretty famous, but that was her original bathroom. Well, this is where Hamburger Patty's Ice Cream Parlor started. We only had 20 seats. We served everything in a wicker basket that was spray painted with polyurethane and a tissue sheet. So your hamburger and french fries and hot sandwiches would come like that. But we only owned 3 feet behind this window.
Oh, wow. And where the
None of
settlement
that
is-
land back there belonged to Patty's. And over the years, we've been able to invest back into the building of the company to what it is today, but this is where it started.
One thing I learned about Patty is that she was tenacious. When she had a goal, when there was something she was after, she was going to pursue it until she completed it.
And here we have Chip. That is exactly, I think you could describe you the same exact way.
Oh, I'm a lot like my mom, but I'm also a lot like my dad. My dad taught me a lot too. But, you know, this was Mom's idea. Dad was working in New York in the disasters, the flooding on Long Island for almost 3 years. He wasn't here very much. He'd send money home to pay the bills, about $1,800 a month. We only did $8,000 in the first year. We'd sit right in this room over here and play card games and Monopoly and bridge and
Waiting for
you know,
customers.
waiting
This was
for
called
customers.
The family room, because the family hung out
In
in
that
here
room.
waiting for customers.
Waiting for customers. We used to sit here in Hamburger Patty's Ice Cream Parlor, and we'd just sit here and wait till a car came up and would pull up, and they'd look at us sitting in the swing, and they'd like, oh, we better leave. You know, there weren't very many cars. There was like one car, so Mom would run out there and offer them a free piece of pie if they'd come in and eat. Yeah, you know. So
She'd get them with that pie.
yeah,
huh?
and of course down at the Iron Kettle there were lines of people around the front porch waiting to eat.
Right.
They just had
They
lots
were-
of business. We didn't have any business down here in this
That's
end of
funny.
town. This is sort of neat. These are my father's hee-haw overalls. He always wore overalls. We always wore overalls. It was part of the Hamburger Patty's experience. And Dad wanted hee-haw overalls, and he saw it on the hee-haw show. So he called down to the producers down there, where do you get these hee-haw overalls? And he had to order, they ordered him special material and sent it to us to make him a new pair of hee-haw overalls.
And one day we had a coroner, a Kentucky coroner, who was here having dinner, and he went to the bathroom, and he carried a loaded gun with him. And when he went to the bathroom, the gun must have dropped, and it discharged.
Oh my gosh.
And it sent a bullet through the toilet. And of course we have water. And the people sitting in here eating,
All
a few minutes
sudden water.
later, we've got this water coming out of the bathroom, and they point that out to us. And surely they heard the gun. I don't remember them saying anything about the gun, but I remember they said something about the water. So we investigate, and there's a hole in the toilet. So we have to chase down this coroner who's in here.
That's in here. Oh my gosh.
And he gave Chip money to pay for the damages.
And then we had the time where the people came over and sat at this table over here in the corner, and they bought a whole bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken and all the fixin', and just wanted some drinks to eat with their chicken in our restaurant. And it's like all the staff was saying, well, what do we do? And I said, I don't know what we do. What do you think we should do? And we all decided, give them their drinks and leave them alone, and tell them that, next time, eat at KFC with your chicken. But anyway, they had a great deal. They enjoyed it.
The first time I met Miss Patty, and she was there, but the first time I met her, I walked through the kitchen doors, and there's this immaculately beautiful woman in a silk dress washing dishes. Had no idea who she was. And my eyes must have been the size of saucers. And I went and I said, ma'am, you're gonna ruin your dress. I said, let me get you an apron. And I don't know, we became friends from then on.
That was because Miss Patty on Saturday night would be our cashier. Because this was in our primitive days. We didn't have a cash register. We didn't have, we had a cigar box, and we got a cash register. And we were supposed to punch certain buttons to certain things were sold and certain, and she'd say, we'd be working away and she'd say, with it. Boom, we'd hit no sale. And she'd go back to her cigar box. And that's what made it go. That was what made it go.
Miss Patty, she always had bowl cakes after a while, but there's a little story behind her bowl cakes. And she was making cakes one day, and she had set them in the in the refrigerator on the shelf. Well, the shelf slid, and the cakes started going this way. Well, of course, they looked somewhat mangled. And she said, well, I'm gonna serve these. And she got some bowls, and she went to the waffle station, and she got cherry pie filling and I don't know, all kinds of stuff, whipped cream, and she was just mixing away. And so we started serving bowl cakes, and everybody loved her bowl cakes.
She was a person that, she was frugal because she'd worked hard to make this place, and she was still frugal and everything. But then when you would get ready to go out with her to go to market and everything, she would be a little distinguished lady and going out to the market, and she always made some purchases to bring home. and we loved it, we loved it.
We did get the new the first renderings of the architectural drawings last
They're
Thursday,
gorgeous,
and they're
aren't they?
beautiful.
They are. That gave us a new hope, didn't it?
Pat
We saw
Kerr
that.
and Anita Kerr are the architects. Inman Restaurant Design in Nashville is doing the kitchen design work and redevelopment. And of course, Mark Bears from Assured Partners, our insurance agent, you know, CFSB Bank and all of their wonderful staff, and now Pinnacle. Dennis Smith, you've shown in some of the commercials, is helping us. There's so many people, I can't mention them all, but we will be mentioning them as we develop. I know Nelson Excavating Company is tearing the building down. So we're looking really forward to our future. The past is something we're going to always remember. Part of this last moment here, these moments here are going to be part of the memories, but our future is so bright and so exciting.
We're excited.
We hope to get open by November 1st, folks, but you know, we really just don't know yet. We'll just have to depend on the weather and a lot of things. But we are building back, as I shared with you we were going to. And we're going to make it sure that my mother's memory is honored. But bottom line is, when that first day happens, when we open, it's going to be beautiful. And people will come again after being closed all this time. They will come and enjoy, and hopefully they'll be excited about what we've created.
I think they will.
What I would like to share with everybody, the next few minutes of this video is a memorial walk through this business. We've touched people for 40 years in their lives and helped build. And at this walkthrough, the end of this video is going to be silent, because we want you to remember it in your own hearts the way you want to remember it. Thank you all for being part of our lives and our family story. God bless you guys. See you soon. Bye.